This presentation is on the SCERTS intervention model. This model was researched and the presentation was made by Dominica Mano, Destiny Deemer, Ashley Dugas, Nikki Cordell, Courtney Liebitz, and Julie Snatchko. If they can't learn the way we teach the way they learn. This is a quote by O. Ivar Lavas that describes how each teacher should view teaching, especially with children with autism or other disabilities. If children need something that we are not giving them, then we need to make sure we provide for that child to make sure they succeed not only in school but outside of school as well. This goes along with the SCERTS model because it accommodates to each child's learning strategies and preferences in their everyday activities. The following video contains a quick summary of what the SCERTS model is and how it helps the individuals with disabilities. The information in this video will be presented more in depth in the following slides.
How do we help these very special children, each so full of energy and trying in their own way to participate in their world with their families and friends, yet struggling with the complexities of social communication and emotional relationships so necessary for happiness and success in life? Each so alive and vibrant, yet needing help to regulate their emotions, to be most engaged and most able to learn at school, at home, and in the community. In an effort to enhance the communication and social emotional abilities of children with autism spectrum disorders, also referred to as ASD, and other related disabilities, a dynamic new model has been developed. Based on current research and designed for educators, parents, and practitioners, this framework promotes social communication and emotional competence in naturally occurring activities as part of everyday life. Developed under the leadership of Dr. Barry Prezant and a distinguished multidisciplinary team of professionals, the SCERTS model represents an example of the next generation of educational practice and intervention for working with children with ASD and other related disabilities and their families. Dr. Prezant and his colleagues have designed a flexible and developmentally based model for those wanting to move beyond currently available approaches to a more comprehensive framework that builds meaning, logic, and predictability into daily functional activities for children with ASD and all their social partners. Collaboration, teamwork, effective planning and implementation, all are hallmarks of this new and exciting educational and treatment model. This 3-tape video series provides a comprehensive overview of the SCERTS model, while exploring its application with students requiring a range of differing supports. Tape 1, Understanding the SCERTS Model, provides information about ASD as well as an introduction to the model. Tape 2, The SCERTS Model in Action, explores the application of the SCERTS model for children requiring more support, such as younger children and/or those with greater developmental challenges. Tape 3, The SCERTS Model in Action, examines its application for children requiring less support, such as those children who have already benefited from the model at younger ages and/or those who are able to function more independently. To illustrate its implementation, we have traveled to a number of schools to observe teachers, administrators, and related service providers who are successfully using the SCERTS model within their classroom environments. We have also visited with families whose lives have been positively affected by the use of this framework with their children at home and in the community. The SCERTS model. enhancing communication and social emotional abilities of children with ASD and other related disorders.
This intervention was created by 4 individuals. These individuals were Barry Prezant, Amy Weatherby, Emily Rubin, and Amy Laurent. They are credible due to their training in speech-language pathology, special education, behavioral and developmental psychology, occupational therapy, and family-centered practice. SCERTS was influenced by many other types of programs. These programs include Applied Behavior Analysis, also known as ABA, Pivotal Response Treatment, TEACH, Floor Time, and Relationship Development Intervention, also known as RDI. SCERTS is an abbreviation for this intervention in which 2 letters together stand for a certain component. SC stands for social communication, which is the development of spontaneous functional communication, emotional expression, and secure and trusting relationships with children and adults. ER stands for emotional regulation, which is the development of the ability to maintain a well-regulated emotional state to cope with everyday stress. TS stands for transactional support. Transactional support is the development and implementation of supports to help partners respond to the child's needs and interests, modify and adapt the environment, and provide tools to enhance learning. These tools can include, but are not limited to, picture communication, written schedules, and sensory supports. SCERTS is a model for significant challenges in social communication. It also prevents problem behaviors. This model was created in order to measure a child's progress and determine the supports that a child may need due to their disability. In addition to helping the child, SCERTS also helps families, educators, and therapists work together as a team. The assessment process is a required step in this intervention model in order to measure a child's progress and determine what the appropriate supports would be. The assessment process ensures that there are developmentally appropriate goals and objectives for a child's style of learning, interests, motivations, culture, and lifestyle are respected and understood. A child participates in meaningful activities. A child's supports are consistent across activities and environments. A child's progress is charted over time, and the intervention quality is measured frequently to assure accountability. Age availability level. SCERTS can be used with children and older individuals. It targets significant challenges faced by children with autism spectrum disorder and their families. It can be used for individuals across a range of developmental disabilities, including verbal and nonverbal students. The model can be used from the child's first diagnosis, throughout school, and then beyond school. Additionally, the model can be adapted to meet unique needs depending on the social setting for both young and older individuals with ASD. There are many benefits to the SCERTS model. The SCERTS model is used in everyday activities throughout the school, home, and community. This is brought about because the SCERTS model is a team-based approach in which the parents are involved in the implementation of the plan. This is a benefit because the parents are on board with helping their child, as well as being able to use the plan throughout the day in the child's regular schedule, so that the child does not really know that the model is being implemented upon them. Some focus of the model is on spontaneous communication, where students share their emotions and develop relationships with peers and people that they come in contact with. This is a benefit to students because this is a social interaction that is very hard for students with autism, and this helps make it easier for them. The model also focuses on emotional regulation in that the students are taught coping strategies to help them cope throughout the day when they get overstimulated. This benefits the student in the fact that they are more readily available and willing to learn, but it also helps them learn how to deal with stressful situations in real life situations. The model then focuses on transactional support, meaning all the ways that support is given to the child and the families. This is done on an interpersonal support manner. This helps benefit the child because everything is done to help the child succeed. This helps show students that they have a reliable person to go to when they need help and that they are not alone. This support can be as simple as the teacher knowing the triggers of the student and redirecting the trigger. This benefit goes along with learning in the way that the model focuses on helping the student by giving them many visual supports so that they are able to learn the way they need to. There is much support for the families throughout this model because autism does not only affect an individual, but it also affects the family. The support benefits the families so that they are front and center in the implementation of the model for that child. They also have support for questions or information about autism or if they need help with their role in the plan. Lastly, the plan focuses on supporting professionals as well. This benefits the professionals because they have someone to go to when they are having a rough day or need advice. They have someone to help push them along through the bumps in the road that they might face. Implementing SCERTS takes team collaboration. The team may consist of, but is not limited to, the special education teacher, general education teacher, administrators, therapists, and family members. The special education teacher, administration, and therapist should be trained on implementing SCERTS. An introduction to SCERTS takes 1 to 2 days and can be in a small or large group setting. After the introduction, there is a 2-day team training. This is limited to 30 participants. The final piece of initial training is SCERTS in Action, which is a 1 or 2 day small or large group format. SCERTS offers introductory training all the way to advanced level training. SCERTS believes in ongoing education and training. Therefore, collaborators are always working together to foster greater success for implementation. After a long amount of research, no actual potential risks were actually found. However, from our own opinions based on the research, there are a couple of factors that could hinder the effectiveness of the model. The first factor being not having the resources. As we already know, autism is a broad spectrum. Each child is different, which means the school or faculty needs to have the resources or materials to accommodate and fulfill each child's needs. If these needs are not met, the child will not benefit from the model. Funds can also be a problem for schools. If they do not have the money to purchase the correct materials or the model itself, then it will fail. A second factor is faculty not being properly trained. This is an intense and individualized approach, so if teachers are not trained correctly, it will hinder the children from achieving what he or she would be achieving. Another factor would be not having the correct type of environment for this model. An example of this could be tension between team members. This model is a team-based approach, which means everybody needs to participate, cooperate, and work together. If there are disagreements or miscommunications, then nothing will ever progress. This slide shows the different types of pricing for the SCERTS model. The first SCERTS model includes Volume 1 and 2, which costs about $124.95. Volume 1 assessment gives detailed background information on the SCERTS model and guides professionals through the assessment process. Volume 2 intervention gives early interventionists explicit instruction on how to help children reach their goals following assessment. Another part to purchase is the SCERTS Easy Score CD-ROM, which costs about $249.94. This includes automated scoring and summary calculation, printable forms, side-by-side view of up to 4 assessments for a child, so professionals can easily track a child's progress over time. Data export feature for easier data management, and new English and British translations of the SAP report. The third part of the SCERTS model that can be purchased is Autism Spectrum Disorder and the SCERTS Model DVD, which costs $279. Autism Spectrum Disorders and the SCERTS model is available as a set of 3 videos or as a single convenient DVD. The first video provides a detailed overview of the SCERTS model. The second illustrates its application for children with more severe forms of autism who require greater degrees of support, and the third illustrates its use for children who require less support. As evidenced by ongoing research and testimonials, the SCERTS model is found to be extremely effective. Children with autism are able to learn everyday skills that will help them be a part of society. These skills include communicating with others on a regular basis, vocational training, and many more. According to a review on Amazon.com on the SCERTS model, Linda Durant wrote, "It has opened my eyes to more appropriate communication goals and objectives for working not only with the student, but also with the communication partners." As we can see, teachers and parents are pleased with the model, but the research is ongoing and will keep changing and getting better as time goes on. This slide has our website sources listed if you would like to research more about the SCERTS model. We hope you learned valuable information on the SCERTS intervention model. If you